too comfortable. Yellow leather, 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 huh?
Never heard of it. Welcome to Get Your Popcorn Ready. It's your host, Hatch, and your boy,
T.O.
Holla at your boy. We have the lovely, sexy Danya Ramirez coming in today.
Why everybody gotta be lovely and sexy?
Because she is. She's a good girl. She's pretty. She's funny.
Come up
and
with a new
she's
line.
married, so I know what you're thirsty behind. You're going to be trying to...
No, I
Anyway.
know she's married. I know
I'm
her
just
husband.
saying. Me too.
Yeah, we go way back.
go way back,
You probably
like
didn't even know
full
I
flats.
knew Dunya.
I introduced you to Danya and Bev.
I don't remember.
Of course you don't. But anyway.
When? Where?
Remember, this is the story. When you were on the plane, Bev called me. He said, I'm sitting right behind T.O. They were in front of you or something when you guys were going over to the Dominican.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's funny, right?
Yeah.
Small world. Anyway.
Yeah, Bev.
So coming on the show today, the lovely Danya Ramirez, actress, just got off doing Jumanji, which is #1 movie in the world for about 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Yeah. Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Kevin Hart. We need to get those clowns on the show.
Yeah, Kev, and we're trying to get you on the show, man.
might need-
Stop hiding from us, brother.
We got a seat, man. We got a booster seat for you too, Kevin. Come on in. Oh yeah. And just to remind you guys, again, welcome to Get Your Popcorn Ready with your boy T.O. and Hatch.
Yee.
Please subscribe. Share with your friends. Go to the Himalaya app, subscribe, and go to wherever you get your podcasts. We ready.
Yeah, and like I said, I know a lot of you guys the fan base is starting to watch the show, but yeah, we want you guys to also hit that subscribe button when you guys go to the podcast.
Share it with your friends. Encourage your friends to subscribe. Encourage your friends to share.
Sharing is caring.
Exactly. If you care about me, forget him. Share. Subscribe.
Stop being a hater, chump.
Yes, yeah, I like it. It's get ya, people. Get your popcorn ready.
Gonna get ya.
We have the lovely,
The
Danya
beautiful, sexy
Ramirez.
Danya Ramirez
Oh
in
my
the
God.
building.
Awesome. That was such a great intro, guys. Funny.
See, we don't like doing intros. We just
And
like to
humble.
get right back into it.
Right, yeah.
Nice.
So we were talking a little bit about your college career. So, like I said, you said you were smart. You had a 3.59.
Yeah, I was also a volleyball star. I don't know if you know that.
So
about
okay.
me.
So
that's
again,
why
this is-
a lot of my action stuff, like action roles, that's why I get cast in them because I'm very athletic. And I played volleyball in college for like 4 years.
Oh, really?
Well, see,
Yeah.
the podcast, what we're trying to instill in our audience is, like I said, a lot of these backgrounds of successful people, there's an athletic background to them, usually. Like, again, because sports teach you discipline, determination, all those things that, playing sports teaches you. And again, a lot of these people have come from athletic backgrounds and played sports. So we love to hear that you were a volleyball player back in the day.
Yeah, my daughter plays volleyball. So
Oh, really? Yeah, and I was the shortest one on my team. Obviously, I'm 5'5", although I look really tall in pictures. So I'm very short. So yeah, determination and all that stuff. It's really good to be, to have that as a part of your, and also rejection and losing.
Know how to-
like
yeah,
if you
know
know
how to
how to
deal with it.
lose and know how to deal with that and it doesn't destroy you, you're able to come into this business and thrive. You know.
So were you acting when you were in college?
I was already studying at the Actors Workshop Studio in New York. So I was kind of doing both at the same time. I don't know if you know this about me, but my parents, because I started school so young, they wanted me to be a lawyer.
Oh, really?
And I was smart. So they were like, oh, you have great grades, you can be a lawyer. And I was just like, no, that's boring. And I was already kind of modeling a little bit in New York. And I had a big personality. So they always I went from one agency to the next and went to an acting class. And my teacher said, you should really do this for a living. And I kind of ran with it. And I also wanted somewhat of a, I don't know, something to fall back on, and also just to kind of make my parents proud, because I didn't know if they would ever be proud of me acting.
If you were just an actress.
If I was just an actress.
Right.
You just, I don't know.
You're just on TV every
I
week.
think they thought I was going to do porn at one point, I think.
Every
sure.
parent. I think every parent
Oh, wow.
whose kid
They were nervous.
Right. I think every parent whose kid goes into acting, that's their nightmare. I'm gonna,
Yeah.
Really?
think my kids are gonna do porn one day because it's a hard
Yeah.
business, obviously.
Well, they also didn't know anything about the business. So,
Right,
my parents are like immigrated from Dominican Republic. And so for them, it was like, go to college and get a job. And I'm the first one in my family that's in the entertainment business. So they didn't know anything about it. They ran into some pictures that I had taken for modeling, and it's like poom poom shorts and looking to the
Right.
side and back. And my dad was like, what are you doing?
yeah, you're showing your shoulder. Put a shirt on,
Put a
girl.
shirt on, girl.
But I find that very interesting that you said, obviously going, playing sports, saying that losing, it allows you to kind of, I guess transition into the business of acting. And I guess in your words, you're saying losing allows you to kind of sometimes maybe help, I guess, in a sense, rejection when you go on
Yeah.
auditions or what have you.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people don't really understand, like, this business, as much as you see us out there working, there's so many more times that we get rejected.
Absolutely.
And no matter at what level of your career you're on, you're still like, it's all relevant, right? It's like you're going up with other people that are actually working more
Right.
the more you work. And so you get used to being told no constantly.
Right, because I can imagine like a lot of actors. I mean, a lot of people. Being in LA, I realize it's a melting pot of people coming out here wanting to be on the big screen. That's their main objective, to come out here and be the next.
Danya Ramirez.
Danya Ramirez.
Wow. Thank you, Matthew.
Meryl
Yeah, wow.
Streep, your Denzel Washington, your Jamie Foxxes.
You're in a great company.
Yeah, so I can only imagine how actors come out here, and again, as you said, if they don't have, I guess, somewhat of a sports background to allow them or enable them to accept, I guess, disappointment, rejection, that
Yeah.
losing. How do they survive?
How do they get back up and go
Yeah,
back out
exactly.
there and like have the same amount of confidence? You also have to think of it. I mean, Matthew, I don't know if you produced Terrell, but I know that you were into producing as well. Like
Terrell? Yes,
Terrell.
yes, okay.
Yeah, he's got
Because,
a thing. He's got a
people
thing.
I'm sorry,
It's all right.
Terrell. Terrell.
Is that-
Terrell. People always mispronounce my name, and I hate it. So I'm sorry
So
about
you
that.
so you get
I
it.
totally get it, and that's why I repeated it a couple times. Terrell.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Danya.
Yes.
Danya, see?
Like Tanya, but with a D.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's
Some people
Cheryl, like
Danya.
Dania.
Dania, yeah.
All the time.
Right.
So Terrell,
Danya.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
We're gonna continue now with the apologies. I forgive myself though. It's
all right.
It's all about forgiving yourself though.
You gotta forgive yourself before you can move on to forgive
Whether
somebody
I
else.
forgive you or not, as long as you forgive
That's
yourself.
all
As
that
long as I
matters.
forgive myself, I can continue.
Exactly.
all that matters.
Exactly.
But from a producer standpoint, sometimes you really have to be. You're finding money. You're under the gun with a lot of other people. There's so many other moving pieces, like other people that are going to put the movie out and the distributors, and so it's a big gamble for people. And if you don't have the kind of personality that walks in there feeling confident, how are they going to put all their chips on you? So if you think of it that way, you don't have time to get down on yourself if somebody told you no 2 hours ago. You got to walk into the next room like, I'm the one you want to put the money on.
And I think some of the athletes who are becoming actors and directors, I think, like I said, when they, for example, if you drop a ball and you get booed in front of 80,000 people, like walking into a room getting told no is not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Totally.
they booed me like 3 times last year. Like, big deal.
Everybody was watching.
And everybody.
Right.
So it's like, if you can handle that, you can handle, somebody saying, well, no, we don't, you're too tall for this part. Okay, big deal. Move on.
Yeah, exactly.
So
But being a woman, and obviously we're where we are in America right now, at the height of so much stuff going on, especially as it pertains to women empowerment and women, obviously, making their mark in that industry. Can you enlighten us on if you had any struggles?
I think we struggle as women all the time. As a woman of color, you struggle, like, I think, a little bit more. But I really do,
You're
have
color?
faith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You are.
I got some color.
you take your sunglasses off, maybe you
You
could
wouldn't
tell.
know. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know.
She said
well,
women
there's
of
a
color.
difference, between white and me. Just in case you haven't noticed.
right.
Let's see, can I get a white hand over
Right.
here, just so that we on
We can see the
camera,
difference.
just so we can see the difference. I mean,
know
I'm
what?
not as dark as
Dang,
you.
dog.
Okay, so
I'm a little bit,
yeah,
You got-
you got
you got-
something up in there.
Jeez.
I like woman of color.
Tarot.
Don't
That
be
was
kind-
getting me back for the tarot, right?
Yeah.
All right. No, as a minority or anything, it's just like, as a woman, it's you're gonna have your obstacles, but we are in a time that things are changing, and there's a lot of opportunity out there, and I think there's a lot of women are kind of banding together and like really making a mark for themselves, and it's to
the point to where I know you say it's like being a minority, and then it's like being a woman. It's like its own entity now. Just being a woman.
Yeah. As it should be.
Oh, there it is.
As it should be.
See, she's all about
we
that.
we are in our own box. So what we're doing is trying to expand that box. Make the box like a whole entity. Like
exactly.
Our
You're
own
trying to create
universe.
something.
That's what you should.
Yeah. And there's room for everybody. And I think that's the thing that I am most excited about the movement, at least now. It really does feel like it's people just wanting to celebrate talent, wanting to celebrate hard work. It's not like, hey, give me a job because I'm a woman. It's like, because I'm the best person for the job. And I think if we can get into that mindset, then we don't have to fight against each other as men and women. We can coincide. I mean, I think we make each other stronger together than we do being completely separate. So as much as we are having that movement, I think there's a new wave of a new mentality and a new way of thinking about it, that it's more of like, let's do it together rather than like, let's just be, in the women's side or the men's side. And I think at one point it was so very, the lines were very separate, like very.
But now, again, teamwork makes the dream work. I
agree. I mean, that's the way I have to think about it in my household.
So I think with you saying that, do you see now, like, you have all the award shows like the Grammys, the Oscars, and mainly the Oscars when, there are films, there are movies up for like, different awards. There are different actors, actresses up for different awards. I think now, do you think that there's more of a concerted effort to really hone in on an actor's performance versus popularity as far as winning the Oscars? Now?
I actually really enjoyed the last Oscars, I think a little more than I enjoyed a couple of years ago, because it felt like that's exactly what it had turned out to be, just super political. And it was about like, okay, so who's having a movement now? And let's give them all the awards.
So you're saying
we have to balance out the I felt like this time around, it felt a little more inclusive to talent.
Right.
Like we can't forget that even though there's these movements that are happening, we have to celebrate talent. That's what it's there for.
What it's about. Yeah.
That's what it's about. And I think if we can continue to move in that direction and continue having doors open for more females or more people of color, more minorities, I think
LGBTQ,
it'll balance. Exactly.
Everything.
It'll be like everybody will have an equal opportunity when it comes to what talent is being presented. Because I think before, if you don't have too much talent, too many movies or too many shows that have leads, then you can't have that equal opportunity. So you can't complain about not having somebody up there, because you can't just have somebody up there just because they're part of the movement that you're trying to be a part of.
Right. Yeah. So obviously you have talent, right? You're way better now than when you started years and years ago.
Yeah.
What was your first role? Explain that process of you getting your first role.
Well, my first job ever was it's so funny.
Your real job.
It's real job, exactly. I think this is the thing, because you got to understand, like, I didn't really grow up in the business. So for me, like, my first real job, I was like a featured extra, but it was a Spike Lee project.
Okay.
And I was getting my SAG card. And to me, that was like huge.
That's big. SAG card is a big deal, ladies and gentlemen.
It was a huge deal. But, because I've looked at my whole career, my entire career in the same way, every time feels like a big break, So for me, getting my SAG card was a big break. And then it was a big break when I got cast in X-Men, and when I got cast on Sopranos was a big deal. So to me, it's all about like really appreciating every opportunity, because in this business, the longer you're in it, you realize there's so many ups and downs. And people always ask you like, what was your big break? And
they're all a big break.
Yeah, because if you follow there's so many different moments that you feel like, oh my God, this is it. And if you think like that, and then in 2 years,
that'll be it.
It's not it.
Right.
So you're
gonna be depressed.
Your last break, Jumanji, right? You were in Jumanji. So that's
so much fun.
Huge break, right?
You was in Jumanji?
I was.
How do you not know this about our guest?
I haven't seen the movie yet.
You know what?
You're supposed to act like you know.
No, but this is I'm being real to the. I'm being.
So now I don't feel that bad about Terrell.
There as well, you shouldn't.
Oh, Okay, that's how we doing.
That's how we do
Okay,
it.
Dania. Okay, all right. Okay, Dania. I see what we doing.
So that was the number one movie in the world. That was an experience.
number one movie in the
right?
world. You know what's so
What
great
did you
about
play
it?
in the movie?
I played
monkey?
the monkey.
I was like, what animal? I'm trying. What animal?
No. I was
What
the
animal?
lady in red. I play. So you know how they have avatars in the actual game. So I play one of the avatars, and I'm The Rock's ex-girlfriend. That's
Oh, okay.
now with the new villain. So
Okay, so I gotta go look for the lady in red.
The lady in red.
Lady in red.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put on your red dress.
Yeah, I would sing,
Little
but I
Johnny
can't.
Gill. I can sing.
You can
Step
sing.
on
I
your
can rap.
high heel.
I can
can rap, you can
I can
sing.
sound like anybody.
No,
I
you
can't sing my
cannot.
own
No, you
voice.
cannot.
Why are you hating?
No, you cannot.
So
Quit saying
if
that
somebody's
you
Can
like,
we
sound
get a
say-
sample? Can we get a
So
sample
what
of your
would you
singing?
want to hear though?
Oh,
you have to
God.
give me
Oh,
that example.
gee.
of
Trust me,
what-
this is not his big break either. This is not his big break.
It could be. You
Come
never
on.
know.
Well, okay,
This
well,
is a
she just-
challenge right
she just
now.
asked-
You come up with the song and you sing
Give
the
it to me.
song,
What
and
you
I
want
will
me
be the judge.
What do you want? Give it to me.
Prince.
Oh, hot. You gonna
Prince.
go with Prince?
Yeah, Prince.
that hurt my
He
soul.
said he can sing anybody.
Anybody, he said.
Until the end of time, I'll be there for you. Is that it?
That's perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
It was almost perfect.
No, we can't tell until we hear it on.
She just went into character real quick. How was it?
I haven't
Oh,
practiced
it
that
was-
song
it was
until you, but you knew what
amazing.
song it was though.
I didn't.
I didn't.
Until the end of time,
I
Prince?
did not.
Again, till the end of time. Wow.
I did not.
I have to be
I thought-
honest. I did not
You know
know
what's funny?
that.
I really thought I hit the first note too.
no, I
No,
know you
I
thought
didn't.
wrong.
Oh man.
No. Okay,
You
I'm
thought
sorry.
wrong.
Okay, so that's my big break is gone. So anyway, okay, so back to
Back
the
to
movie.
me and
Yeah,
the
back to
movie and
you.
Jumanji. You know what the coolest thing about Jumanji for me was? Going to see it at the movie theater. I went with my kids, and
Awesome.
when I came on screen, and they were both like,
For real?
Mommy.
They're
I mean,
taller
they were
than
like
Kevin
this
Hart,
without-
huh? They're taller than Kevin.
How tall are your kids now?
probably.
They're taller than Kevin.
How old?
They're
I'm sorry. How
six,
old are
six.
they?
So I have twins.
Have twins.
Gaia and Ether. They're 6 years old.
Oh,
and they're
wow.
amazing.
and they're both taller
Yeah,
than
so
Kevin
this must have
Hart.
been the last time, like right after I saw you, you got pregnant.
oh yeah,
huh?
I got busy.
Yeah, you went pregnant when I saw you last.
that on that way, to the Dominican.
Oh, it was
that
right
was
after that. Okay,
They were
yeah.
conceived that trip.
Okay.
Not on the plane on the way back.
Yeah.
We
but
don't
that
know.
was-
We don't
you know.
know.
What? It was very cool. It was epic. Again, you have all these like moments in these amazing, movies, and Jumanji for me because I loved the first one and then the original one, and then I loved the first one that they did coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a great opportunity, and I got to have so much fun. Like it was just laughing.
set,
There's
it
nothing
was
better
fun,
than
right.
a job like that. You just kind of cracking jokes.
And that's what I've heard with The Rock and
Oh, yeah.
Kevin. I'm sure Kevin, he's like
He's hilarious.
24/7 comedy.
He's hilarious. Actually, one of the end of one of the scenes, they had written a line, and then like the last take on that day for me, and the last take on that day, Kevin was watching in the monitor, and I've known Kevin for a very, very long time since like his song
only like
playing
7.
days.
So that's not very long. He's only like 7 years old. What are you talking about? He's like a year older than
he
your
didn't grow,
kids.
he didn't grow
grow
after
up-
7, but
right,
he's
right.
older than 7.
Oh yeah, okay, maybe 12.
So he actually threw a line from the side from the monitors, and that's the line that's in the movie.
Nice.
Yeah,
you?
Nice.
to me.
Oh, what was your
Like,
line?
it was,
What was your line?
Leave me alone. Because they had like a really serious line, and I was just like, okay. He said it on the side, and I just kind of made fun of it.
Do that
He said
again?
it, Leave me alone.
There it is.
Okay,
Woman
yeah.
in the red dress.
Better
Leave her
than your
alone.
better than your Prince.
Don't be
That's
hating.
for sure.
Better
Hating
than
on
better
my
I
than
listen to
Prince.
that. Leave me alone
Watch out.
all day.
Well, that's such a weird line to say. Like, leave me alone. You get too serious with it. It's not a comedy anymore.
Right.
It's not a comedy.
It's all about how you
anymore.
deliver it.
It's the delivery.
Exactly.
He doesn't know any.
And your
He's-
delivery was horrific.
Hey, you know what? I mean, you only put like one of the top
Wait,
three
I actually
voices
didn't
in the world up against me in 30 seconds, but I think
Hey,
I did
you
all
said-
right.
I think
Anybody.
he did pretty good. He
Yeah,
tried.
he's a
It's all
hater.
about
It's all
trying.
about
Tried.
effort.
That's
Effort.
all right.
Effort.
But just because you
Effort and
try, that doesn't
opportunity.
mean you succeed.
I will next time.
That doesn't mean anything.
I will succeed.
I
next
applaud
time.
your effort.
Oh gosh.
I applaud your effort.
Wait, weren't you acting as well at one point? I do remember watching. the
I
show
do a little
or
bit of
something.
everything.
Yeah.
Trust me, I got some acting chops.
Porn does not count, right? So therefore, he
acting
has
too.
not been acting.
That's acting too.
Got it. So when you
I
cut
can-
your head off for the part, was it?
Yeah, I
the ones
can
that
act
you
too.
Hold the phone.
Yeah, I know how to act. You know how to pretend like you're having an orgasm. Yeah.
Get your popcorn.
Get your popcorn ready here with Danya Ramirez, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, yes. Let's go back to, like I said, your first big break. And then after that, what was your first big role that you thought, like, okay, this is now I'm on. I'm an actress now. I'm a working
I'm an
actress.
actor.
Yes.
Actor, yeah.
You know.
Well, again, I worked, and when I first started, I worked with Spike a few different times. So first he gave me my break when I got my SAG card, and then he gave me my first starring role in a movie opposite Kerry Washington and Anthony Mackie, and I played Alex in She Hate Me.
She Hate Me.
And that, even though it was an independent film, really gave me a lot of respect within the industry.
business, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, if you start, especially when you start building your career, it's really about the respect within the industry, because then, casting directors want to call you in, and then
Directors
agents
are checking you
exactly,
out.
directors are checking you out, and, being that Spike is, such a respected director within the business, it really helped me out starting off. But then after that, I did Fat Albert, which I loved.
Oh man.
I mean,
I
so
know,
again,
I'm
that was a
geeking
big
out.
studio movie.
That was my first
He could
studio
have played that character.
Oh, you know how to do that one really well.
Yeah, I told you, I got skills. Hater alert.
So speaking of Spike Lee, like he's like you said, one of the top directors. Like obviously, I'm sure prior to that, I guess he kind of gave you your break.
Yeah, he really
one of the
did.
first opportunities, were you like nervous? Like I can imagine, like going and like auditioning for like some of the top directors in the industry. I'm like, I would probably be. I've played in front of hundreds of thousands of people. I would probably be nervous.
Yeah.
But how was it?
For me, the interesting part about me is because I didn't know anything about the business, I didn't really know anybody to be nervous in front of anybody. And I think that really helped me a lot at the beginning, because I just didn't care.
Right.
I really didn't
So
give a
that's
fuck.
kind of
I
like-
walked into the room and I was just like, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm doing.
And you were
I
natural then, probably
I
more
was
natural.
really natural and really fearless. I think the more I worked,
Now you
then I
have it,
became a little more nervous. I think that in-between stage. And then
Because it's a big time producer watching
Yeah.
or a big time director watching you.
And I
Exactly.
think that's something that
And
when you
auditioning
said
in
it-
general is a whole other beast.
Whole different
It's a
thing.
completely different beast than actually acting in front of the camera or
Absolutely.
preparing before you walk in there.
But I
Absolutely.
think the word that you use should be sort of like an approach that you can approach with anything, whether it's auditioning or whatever. Is fearless.
Fearless, yeah.
Big word.
It's fearless. Because you think about, even like if you think about kids, growing up,
Yeah.
they're fearless.
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
they understand what fear is. Or
Yes.
the consequences of their actions. They're just, they jumping off tables and that and the other.
Yeah.
They're just
Oh, yeah.
fearless. So that's kind of like what you just jumped in there.
Yeah.
Jumped into it.
Just
like,
walked in, just doing it. And
Own it.
honestly, I didn't even see anything. Again, I mean, and I'm probably one of those rare people that like really did everything, like from like music videos, like the girl in the music videos, so then the girl in the commercials, so then the girl that started like act. So I feel like every time I hit a different phase in my career, I just took on a different identity.
Which is good.
Yeah,
Which is
so
good.
right now I'm taking this identity, like I know everything.
Right, which, no, I don't think that's the first time you thought that.
Okay, speaking.
You know
on-
what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely not the first time.
Now I'm taking, I do podcasts.
But
Have a
speaking
great-
on that or expanding on that, like, okay, how did it feel to be like on like the sexiest ladies of the year list?
Yeah. Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
It was really cool. Like I'm not gonna
Right,
lie, that's
right.
freaking cool. Some people are like, I don't know, I feel shy. I'm like, I
Right,
thought it was
exactly.
really
Like,
exciting.
No, you
Yeah,
like
the
first of all, I
flattering,
deserve it.
It
Second
was
of
really,
all, yeah.
it was really flattering. It was really great. But I grew up like not being like the prettiest one in my household. I got really bullied a lot when I was younger, and I kind of grew into my features.
Right.
So I wasn't
He's
like.
still growing in his.
Don't laugh at that.
He's still
No,
growing
you don't
in
laugh
his.
at that. Clown.
Yeah. So for me, it was just like, wow, this is crazy. Like I just remember being in high school and like not even being looked at.
Yeah,
and,
no,
like,
right. Nobody asking you on a
Just-
date.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this like, and then I'm like one of the hottest. I'm like, hell yeah, there you go.
That's awesome.
It's like validation.
Well, yeah, I guess for them.
for you, like I already know this.
I
I've been
actually
hot.
was so confused growing. I was like, I'm super cute. I don't get it.
But you know, at that time, most of the boys at that age, they're probably, if you are hot, they're
I
still
was-
scared to even
No,
talk
I
to
was
you
just-
because you're cute, and
No.
then or you're the other girl.
It
like,
wasn't.
okay.
I wasn't cute. It was not. That was not me. You
you
don't
go.
understand. I came in.
So
I
you
was
like
an
the ugly duckling.
I was an immigrant. My cousin was.
How was your English?
I didn't speak English.
Oh,
like
yeah, you was
my
out.
outfits were not the best. Like
Colorful?
I didn't understand cool for the longest time. You know, I was just off.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's what gave me a personality, and I ended up being funny because I was just like I can't really
said you were
relate to
funny?
that. Oh, sure. Like I'm gonna talk.
Says
to
the guy
about
that's
it.
funny looking.
Right.
Absolutely, I love it.
Thank
though.
you. Thank you.
I got your back, girl. You know, it's all
Forget
about
both y'all.
I
women
appreciate
empowerment
that.
over here.
Yeah,
Okay?
thank
both
you.
y'all.
Women, go.
Yeah, it's all about the women right now.
No, it just
Okay.
it took a second. It took a second to figure it out, and then once I started figuring it out, I was just like, okay, cool.
Is that your power piece when you walk into the room now though? Like for when you are acting like, okay, I know I'm funny. It's the confidence thing is why you get roles, you think?
I think that has a lot to do walking into a room.
Because there's
You
other
know,
cute
there's
and pretty
other-
girls out there, but they're not as confident. So when they go into
Right.
that room,
Yeah.
it doesn't come across. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. I think it all depends on what people are looking for. But it is helpful because you're walking into a room that a lot of other people are walking into. And so if you think about it, the people that are watching you just sitting back there, they're watching so many people come in. So how is it gonna make it? How are you gonna stand
out,
out?
right, right.
So that's part of it. But it's also like trying to figure out how to just be authentic.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, the one thing that I can, when people ask me for advice, it's just like, just try to adapt any lines or any material that you read and bring you into it.
Yep.
Because then that'll make it stand out. Like you're never gonna read something the way I read it.
Never, right.
So I never think I'm in a room with competition.
Right, it's you.
You know?
Right. It's
So
all
let-
about the
so let me-
interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
then
the
it also
script.
allows you to move through this business just being nicer.
Yeah,
because
that
I think a
always
lot
helps.
of people walk in and they're like, "Oh my gosh, she's my competition," and then they just don't want to talk to you.
Like, nah, we're
Yeah,
all
because
on the
I've
same
sat in
page.
Yeah.
I've sat in the lobby, and then you see people in there. They're in there for the same audition,
Yeah.
and you're literally like you come in there. You know what the attire is, and you seeing people come in and they're dressed kind of like similar. So you're kind of like sizing people up as they come in.
What's
they're
up with
sizing
you?
you up,
Like, what's up
yeah.
with you? What's up
Yeah.
with you?
Yeah, and it's just
Right.
like if I'm gonna get it, you're not gonna get it because we're so fucking different. You know
Right,
what I
right.
mean?
Let me ask you this: what role did you go out for that you didn't get that you were disappointed? You're like, oh, I wanted
That you,
that one.
yeah,
I
like
was
you went in there
this
like you
would-
felt like in your mind, like you rehearsed
Like I
it,
really wanted
like
it.
you
really
feel
want
like
that one.
you've nailed it.
I think I went in for I forget what Bond girl,
A James Bond movie?
James Bond movie, and I think it was like down to like me and like two other girls, and I was really. I was really bummed out about that one. Just because I always wanted to play a Bond movie.
Did you
Right,
so? Did
right,
you go
right.
watch the movie to see which girl
Who they
got it
cast
and
it?
didn't
Who
get
they
it?
cast?
I have a
you didn't get
thing
it?
with my agent and my manager. Like I never ask who's up for the role. Like I never want to know who was up for it. So I don't really have any of that stuff. So when I go watch the movie, I like
It's
to
all
enjoy
fresh.
movies.
Right, it's
Right.
fresh.
I didn't grow up with television, so like I still have like I'm still like that kid that goes to the movies like excited to watch the movie and not like I don't like to read into
Nice.
it too much and try to associate it with like I wanted that role. Like
That should have
I
been.
can't
that
live my
should have
life
been
like
me.
that.
Right, but then
I can't live my life like
Right,
that.
but
that's good.
I would be depressed.
but that's human though. That's human to think that way. Like, okay, you go to the movie, you know you auditioned for that role,
No, I
you
can't.
get it, and you watch the movie, and then you're watching them act. You're like, oh, I could have done this. I would have done that. Do
You know what?
do you find
To
yourself
be
doing
honest,
that?
I don't do that. I think that's a competitive side that's a really good thing to have, but it also can work against you. And I think I went to India and connected with
the universe?
With the universe
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a different capacity so I could love my life again. No, I'm kidding.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
You can't, I mean, honestly, in my business, you audition so much
Yeah.
that you just like that would drive you crazy. I mean, for me, it would drive me crazy. That's the good thing about having kids, though, because you don't have
Different
too much
perspective now.
time
Yeah.
to spend thinking about yourself. I think
Yeah.
if you don't have, if you just, the longer you're in this business and you're just focused on your journey and your career and your everything, I have a lot of people that I know that struggle with that later on because all the focus is on themselves.
Do
Yeah,
you
so
want
it's
do you
to
want
the
your
next.
kids in the
Yeah.
business?
Do I want them in the business? I want my kids to do whatever
Whatever
makes
they
them
want,
happy.
right. So if
Yeah,
they
whatever
wanna
makes
do
them
it.
happy. My daughter, though, now she's so funny. She starts doing all these like dance videos that she
Oh, she's
tapes
on the
herself.
way. She's on the way.
She tapes herself. She's super funny.
She's on the way.
So she has your personality or your husband John's?
Bev's. Yeah, would you have Bev's
He's-
personality?
I mean,
or-
she's a combination of both of us.
Okay.
She's a combination. She's
well,
a.
Bev, you know you can't dance, so she ain't got your personality.
But my son, they're twins, so my son also he's just obsessed with her. So he always wants to do everything she does. But he has a natural thing, like where she sometimes like tries to like do it. He without trying will just.
He's a natural.
He's
at
a
it.
natural. When you just watch somebody
Right.
on screen, you're like, oh, you don't even have to do anything.
Yeah.
You just stand there and you're fine.
Speaking of that, so
Yeah.
when you have these different actors or you have people that are auditioning or wanting to be actors, then obviously you take acting classes, this, and that, and the other. What would you recommend for somebody that's, as you said, like your son, he's a natural on camera. Would you then, like, as he gets older, I guess you would have him put him in acting classes, or you don't tinker with it and you just let him
I would.
be natural?
I would just allow. I mean, it's as a parent. Sometimes you want to test things out with them. So I would probably test it out just to see if he likes it. And if he expresses some kind of interest in it, then I would support it. But I wouldn't want to be like, okay, just do this, because I personally. I hated when my parents told me what to do, and I feel like sometimes you deter kids by pushing something
Yeah,
on
that
them.
feels forced.
It feels forced, and then
Right.
they reject it rather than like accepting,
Embrace it.
and
Right.
it takes them longer to get there.
Yeah, his mom used to always tell him to brush his teeth, and he never would. That's why his breath stink now.
That's
But
all right.
Anyway,
But when I smile, my smile is bright.
and your breath is also
Get your
right.
popcorn.
I'll get your popcorn
Get
right
your
here with
popcorn
Dr.
right there.
Ramirez. Okay, so now take it back to 2020. I said Jumanji came out. So what's
2020.
next in the career on the
car-
acting side?
Well, on the acting side, because I had been taking a break, so I after I did. Jumanji was probably the last thing that I went out and did. It was at the beginning of last year. And prior to that, I had been working in. I did
Devious Maids, right?
Tell Me a Story, actually. So
that's right.
Kevin
It was after
Williams
that.
and I played Hansel and Gretel from Hansel and Gretel. They did like these tales, and they reimagined them a little grittier and more of a psychological thriller. And so I was in New York for a while, and prior to that, I played Cinderella. I was the first Latina Cinderella, guys. It was
Oh,
pretty-
nice.
It was
okay.
really cool.
Cinderella.
Cinderella. And so I had been gone for a while, and I hadn't spent any time at home, and I just wanted to spend some time with the kids. And I took a year off and started developing some projects that I'm
Nice.
currently
Can
working
you tell us
on.
about some of those projects?
Yeah, well, right now I'm at the beginning stages of developing something with Eva, along with Eva Longoria,
Nice.
a real story, period piece television show. We'll talk about that a little. I'll come
Yep,
back.
yep, yeah.
I'll come back when we have it a little more.
Eva,
you go,
okay.
there you go.
Is
Yeah.
Eva, is she married? She single? She dating?
How you gonna be thirsty on the show?
I'm
not thirsty.
thirsty
Eva
on
is
the show.
Because I'm eating popcorn.
happily married. Happily married.
Oh, I'm just asking. I'm just
Yeah.
inquiring.
Look,
I'm asking for him. He's single.
wow.
I'm
This
trying to
guy.
do. I was indirectly trying to help you out. You know what I mean? That's what the friends do.
What a great friend you are. What a
You
great
just try
friend.
to throw me on
Great
the bus.
friend.
He trying to throw me on the bus. I'm trying to help him out.
There
you
you
know
go.
what I mean?
Trying to hide. He's trying to cover
You know
what I
himself.
mean?
Trying to
I'm
cover
gonna
himself.
sit back and let you guys.
Yeah, because I'm not listening to him. Don't even
What?
worry about that. So
No, I'm working on that. I'm also, doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I'm
trying to
I'm producing
direct
a-
and produce as well.
Yeah, I'm producing a television show, a reality show, actually.
Oh, reality. I love reality shows.
Along with Jeff Jenkins. It's about a group of friends, Latin friends, and really just to showcase a new business venture that I have along with my husband. We're starting a cannabis medicinal marijuana
Nice.
company, all geared towards women. It's called High Girl, and we're gonna have a cartoon to actually go along with it. And
Oh,
we
some
just got
animation.
oh yeah, it's gonna be
Smart.
cool. We're trying to sell to no.
Not to kids. You were gonna say to kids.
No, we're not trying to sell
Young
them.
adults that have the wrong idea about cannabis. Because I do believe there's a lot of people that are there are a lot of people that are misinformed, and they just look at it as like this super wrong thing. And I'm getting a testing license as well, so we're gonna have a testing facility.
Okay. No, let me ask you again. I don't know much about cannabis in the youth. How old do you have to be to smoke legally? Is there an age?
It's 18.
18.
Is it 18?
Well, with a permit, I mean, I'm assuming that you have to have like.
Yeah,
we're
18,
talking about,
I think. It's 18.
and let's clarify. We're talking about medicinal marijuana.
Yes,
we're not talking about just like
not on the corner
recreationally
getting
and
it from Fred.
exactly.
bag.
And I think
For
that
medicinal purposes only.
yes, kids.
Okay, because 21 is alcohol, so I figured they would have made.
So it's 8. I think it's 18. It was 16.
Interesting.
Now
I think it's
that.
18, but you gotta say alcohol. It's available to everybody at 21, so it's
I see
not
what
like
you're saying.
anything
Yeah,
used for medicinal purposes. This is something different. So
Okay,
yeah,
I
so
get
we're
that.
we're developing different things. And
Do you want to
I'm
direct one day?
thinking, I don't think I'm not into. I'm not opposed to it.
Right,
I'll say that I'm not
You're not
opposed
smart
to it.
enough to direct? Is that what you're saying?
I am
Wow.
super smart, and I don't even know why he keeps saying
I don't
that.
know.
I don't
either.
understand.
He's a hater.
Terrell?
Told you.
I just
told
want to
you.
just
No,
confirm that
I
you're
want to.
smart.
I actually really love to cook. That's my real
Oh, so you do a cooking
passion.
show with Rachel Ray.
I could. I would do that. Do you know her? Are you trying to? What are you trying to produce
trying to
it?
put
Are you
it
offering?
together?
Are you making me an offer
could.
right now?
Mate,
You
I'm
guys
all
heard it here first.
I'm all about business.
$6 million a
Get
year
your
to do.
popcorn ready.
Get
your popcorn ready.
Cook popcorn.
We're gonna cook
Who
popcorn.
can make the best popcorn show? That's what we want to see.
My popcorn is nice, bro.
Can't make no
When I go to the
popcorn.
theaters, bro, I have it down to a science.
To make
How?
popcorn?
Right,
You
I
didn't
know.
make it.
I get my popcorn, right? And I tell them, I said, fill it halfway up. I go to the dispenser. I give about 4 pumps of butter. Shake it up. 2 more pumps. That's 6.
You
I
can
get
count.
Get the salt.
Yeah.
Sprinkle the salt on there a little bit. Shake it up. Give it back to them. They fill it up the rest of the way. Go back to the dispenser. 4 more pumps of butter.
It's a science.
That's
Who
10.
said?
That's 10.
The movie is over.
No, it's like 15 minutes, 20 minutes of credits.
He
Sprinkle-
told you he didn't have to have higher than a 2.0 to have talent.
Exactly, dude.
He's got hidden talent.
First of all, look where he is. He's right here with me.
Genius, ladies and
His was a
gentlemen.
2.0, mine was a 2.1. I'm winning over here.
Winning.
So I put some more salt on the top. I shake it up. And then, hey, I get me a large. I go to I like the peach. They have the peach and the Sprite mix, bro.
You really
large.
got this down.
This is
No, trust me. Like that's my excuse to go to the movies to eat popcorn is when I go to the movies. And then, like I said, if I'm by myself or if I have a date or somebody accompanying me, they don't want any popcorn. And then soon as they get in the theater, right?
all of a sudden they're
They get-
taking all your popcorn.
Because of the ingredient. Once those ingredients, they're like, oh my God.
Because of the
this is-
ingredients. It's butter.
It's like, yo, this
It's
is
not
really good.
ingredients.
Trust
It's
me.
butter.
The best popcorn. Trust me.
It's
Get your
in the
pop.
science. It's how he puts the butter. It's the whole thing. He just
Exactly.
explained it.
If
He
you
just
made
explained
the
it.
butter, I could be like, okay, cool. But it's butter.
Get your popcorn ready with T.O. minus Hatch because he's whack. Yeah, man. Hey,
This will be my motivation for making movies now.
exactly.
Wait, this is
Subscribe.
Scene. This gonna be your scene.
To GPR on your Himalaya
Hashtag
app.
GPR.
Wherever you get your podcast.
Oh, my
Get your
gosh.
popcorn, subscribe, and share with all your friends.
Here with Danya Ramirez, the lovely Danya Ramirez, ladies and gentlemen.
I have one more question.
And you guys,
got a question?
thank you so much. I just want to say,
for coming on, though. Appreciate it.
just step back for a second and just say, you guys are doing great. I am very proud of you.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Like the
We're
most-
trying to do our
This
best.
was really genuine. I know that I was laughing throughout it, but I really meant it. I really think this
This
is
is
awesome.
what we do.
This is really great.
I
I think
appreciate
people
it.
really are gonna they really get to see like a real good vibe. And for me as a guest, it's been fun. It's been so much fun.
This is me
Good.
anyway. This is me
Yeah.
outside of football that people has ever seen. You know what I mean? They have a perception of me, but like I said, he knows we've known each other for like 20 something years.
Yeah.
And so, like I said,
unfortunately.
but you know, this
I
is
blocked him a couple of times. He's still, got a hold of me.
Still got hold of you.
Really?
We're like, hey, let's do a podcast together.
Great idea.
Good idea.
But no, we like it as a platform. Again, we're trying to cross sports, entertainment, pop culture, and I think again letting people know there's other sides to the celebrity out there. That's what we're trying to get across. Because again, we would do football interviews, but we didn't really want to always talk about football.
Yeah,
a lot
it's not
a lot
always-
of people don't. Like you don't want to always talk about acting. You want to let people know what
Yeah.
I have kids. You're married. You have a life. You go to the
Yeah.
grocery store.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? People.
Makeup or no
We're
makeup.
just like you.
But you don't even look like you don't need makeup. You know, I know
Thanks.
some actors and actors they make sure they put their makeup on before they go to the grocery store. I don't
That's
see
true.
I don't see you
I
as
can't
one of
do
those.
that.
moms.
What grocery
No.
store do you go to?
Trader Joe's is like down the street from me, so I'm always there.
Have you had any experiences at the grocery store?
I've had
Something
many
like,
experiences.
okay,
at
well, give
grocery
us a good, give us somebody.
What-
give us-
I'm
give
like,
us a good or
what
good or
is the
bad.
question
Give us a
here?
good or bad
Good or bad,
experience. If
good or bad.
somebody like maybe recognized you, maybe spilt Pepsi on you or something, whatever. Something. Give us a story.
No,
from
I
the
don't even
grocery
know.
store.
Grocery store. There's so many stores at a
We
grocery
have kids
store.
now too, so
They
always make it.
random.
No, actually, I ended up hiring a girl from the grocery store. She was at the cash register, and so I was going with my cart, and it was like full, and everybody was backed up on all the lanes were backed up, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to get out of here. I have to get back home. So I look over, and she's like coming in, and it was like the light just lit up, and it was like, oh. So I walk in, and I'm the first person in there. She goes, oh, I just got to work. This is great. And I was like, this is perfect because I was leaving. And she was like, I've had such a rough day. And I was thinking, man, I was like, what? I said, what were you thinking? She said, man, I really need some money. And I was like, I actually need a nanny right now. I just got back from New York. And do you have any experiences with kids? And then she sent me her resume, and then she worked for me for like almost a year.
That's awesome.
And so that was one of my.
See? So
that wasn't
again-
a crazy story.
No,
but it's still
that's
a story.
it's a real story.
It's a real story. That's a story nonetheless.
Yeah, it's a story.
Right.
All right. So we have another.
Everybody won in that situation. You got
Opportunity.
your kids taken care of. You got some money out of it. You got your groceries in and out.
Exactly.
Everybody
and
won.
then she could go buy stuff from Trader Joe's because she gets a discount, an employee discount.
Even-
and then
even
I,
better.
then I
You got
really
the
won.
discount.
Win,
You really
win,
winning.
win.
I was winning all the way around.
Win.
You know?
Okay. So that's a good experience. Just again, celebrities go to the grocery store and they're real people. They're touchable, tangible people. That's the the point we're trying to make. So we have another segment on here called social status segment where we want to ask you about what you've had regarding your social media. If there's anything good and or bad, somebody trying to
Like a reaction to what somebody said via social media, whatever, maybe an encounter
I don't
at
know.
Trader Joe's or whatever.
yeah.
Social media, I don't know.
Because you're on social media a lot, though.
I
right?
am, but I can't say that I pay
You
too
don't
much
pay
attention.
to it. Like, yeah.
So you don't like somebody like, oh, they didn't like a role that you played in a movie.
her
or
hair,
TV.
no, at an award show or something. Like,
Yeah,
oh, she
I
they
don't
had
didn't
know.
like
a
your
dress on.
dress.
They don't like my dress. I mean, I think a lot of people don't like how I dress sometimes. I don't really. You know what?
How do
Actually,
you
I
dress?
do have a social media story.
Okay, well, there
I'll
do
tell
it.
you, but it's not about fans or anything. It's about my mother, which
Even
is even
better.
Is even better.
Even better.
So my mom is very religious, right? And so
She's
my-
social media savvy though. She know how to operate social
she
media.
didn't until recently. She decided to go on Instagram, and
Sounds
now
like
she
me.
follows me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now she follows me, and now she judges every picture that I put up, and that is I don't know.
That's not what
Mom?
it's for.
Oh my God, no, it's crazy. Like she'll call me sometimes. She was like, that dress was just really revealing. Do you think have you watched Zoe Saldana's Instagram? And I'm like, I'm gonna kill her right now.
Right.
First of all,
So Zoe's just
first of all,
messing you-
Zoe is my friend. Okay,
Right,
so I'm like,
right.
okay, Mom, I don't want to hate Zoe right now, but
you're
stop.
making me hate her.
Stop
I
right now.
met her and her husband at the movie theater once.
Her and Zoe? Him and Zoe?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
I mean,
Yeah.
Zoe and her husband.
when
I
you
met
were
her-
getting popcorn?
I exactly. I
You get a
was.
popcorn. Did you offer her some popcorn? She would have loved
Get
it.
your popcorn ready. And then-
Did you have them get your popcorn ready?
no, I was busy getting my own ready.
Okay.
But yeah, I met him, man. Yeah, it was in Santa Monica, actually. Yeah, so it was cool. It was cool just to meet her.
Yeah, she's a cool girl. Very normal. See, down to I
Very-
think,
yep.
very
Yep.
normal.
Yeah, and I
people.
think if I'm
Normal.
not mistaken, I think I asked her to take a picture. She's like, "Yeah, sure." And usually in moments like that,
You're
when
such a groupie. Why
I
you be
like
taking
that.
pictures with everybody?
I like that person. Why not?
It's a groupie.
Why
You're
not?
gonna make me cry, man.
You know, yeah,
You know,
he
every-
does cry at the drop of
Oh,
a
why I
dime,
gotta
so
be a
he might
groupie,
be. Why you be taking pictures with everybody, man?
Why not?
It's just a moment,
Why
like
not? Why
because you
not?
never know when you may never see that person again.
The world might end tomorrow.
I'm just saying, like that. Look at Kobe, bro. Like, you know how many
Yeah, I mean,
pictures
that's different.
that he took with so many
That's
people, and
different.
then opportunities that people missed.
You know what? Now
Like
that
it
you-
hurt
yeah.
me. Like I know we're going off a little bit, but like I last saw him like at my daughter's.
we was at the volleyball game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
in the gym.
I feel bad because I was just in the car with my daughter. She went to on Sunday to this Black History Month, and I was like, "Yo, do you remember when Kobe came to the game?" And then she goes, "Yeah," because his oldest daughter Natalia played at Sage Hill High School, and they played each other. And I felt bad because,
Didn't
just
get a
like you
picture.
said, I that moment. I know how it is being out in public and everybody wanting to take pictures, and his security I had heard him like, "Nobody, you're not taking any pictures."
So you want to ask for
So
your
I
daughter.
didn't want to
Yeah.
ask.
yeah.
And for me, like that would have been a
That
great
would have been
moment
the- yeah.
for me and my daughter, like my daughter,
Daughter,
and his
yeah.
daughter to
You're
take a
building
picture. And
memories.
I feel I'm
don't
asking
feel
that,
terrible.
I
Yeah.
feel terrible, and I know Kobe would have.
He would've said, yeah,
lied,
yeah, of course.
But I just know how it is when you're out and you especially he was there supporting his daughter. He's being the girl dad. You know, I know
Yeah.
everybody's been talking about.
And he's
Gigi.
He's a parent.
Yeah,
so
now, like I
he
said,
would've
I
been-
didn't. Yeah, I saw him as Kobe the parent.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Versus how everybody else saw him, like Kobe, the basketball player. So I didn't want to just fit in,
Well, and here's the thing: you always think you get another chance. That's the thing. That's the
That
lesson
too?
in
When you-
life.
when you see people.
I'll see
Yeah,
him
but it's-
again next
right,
month.
it's
I'll
just-
see. We'll
oh,
have
man.
another.
I mean, I
honestly,
don't
I
take
feel so
pictures with
bad.
people, but I definitely let them know how great they are. Every single time I
awesome.
see someone that's like just that I'm a fan of, that I think is
Right.
amazing. Like I think the last time I was at a big Oscar party. I was turned this way, and then when I turned back the other way, it was like Charlize Theron was like sitting right next to me. And first of all, she's so tall.
Yeah, she's
so
a
I was just like, I
6'4"
looked up and I
almost.
was just like. I think you're so beautiful. And, like, you know what I mean? Like I just didn't, and she was so genuinely like touched.
Does she
by
like black
that.
guys? Is she single?
Not you. She doesn't
single?
like you.
Back to this.
Is she
huh?
dating?
He thirsty
Back
on the
to
show.
this.
Yo, I'm
I
single.
thought-
You can't
I
be
thought he
thirsty
was
on the show.
You
though.
married, right? You
This is a
you have
professional
somebody.
setting.
You married. You have.
This is a
that's a
professional
professional
setting.
question. That was a professional question.
You know what? It's better than swiping left and right.
Thank you, Danya.
And he goes swipe
Yo.
left and right.
Man, I'm asking.
There we
the
go. Get
questions.
your popcorn ready with the lovely guest, Danya Ramirez. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me. This was so much fun.
Come.
Bye. Thank you. Mwah.
Absolutely.
So that was a good show. Great show having Danya Ramirez. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's do our 3 and Out segment regarding the show. I thought one of the key things, of course, this sports and entertainment podcast is she was an ex-volleyball player, right? She
Very
again,
interesting. Yep.
You know, and all the things that the athletics instill in you as far as your determination and how to handle losses and things
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
how-
she
yeah.
talked about that.
Yeah. How losing allowed her to cope with the rejection.
Yeah.
into the in the industry. Toward the end of the show, which is I find very, very compelling, is that going into a grocery store, you never know where your opportunities,
Yeah.
may come. And I think it's the reverse. It wasn't an opportunity for her, but she provided an opportunity for somebody else.
Yep.
Which is very compelling about her and where she was in her life, and again, sometimes you have that innate ability. Sometimes you can just gravitate to certain people, and people meet in people's lives for whatever reason. And that cashier came in that day, and they had a little bit of dialogue, and she said she
Hired her as a
needed
nanny
a
for
job,
a
and
year.
yeah, Danya had just had some twins, and she needed some help.
Yeah. I think that what's funny about that, and again, it's almost like my life philosophy, is like just because you give somebody $5 doesn't mean they have to give you $5 back. Because once you're getting something from somebody else and you're giving it to somebody else.
That's called paying it forward.
Paying it forward. That's the slogan. But again, I think that was her. Like we talked about how in the beginning she got her big break and she gave the nanny a break at that time of her life.
Right.
I mean, to everybody else, it's not a big deal, but
Right.
to that lady, that was probably a huge a part of her life, especially now that, oh my gosh, it's Danya Ramirez. You know, that was also a big piece of it too.
Yeah, yeah, which is I think the cannabis, just her, because I thought when she,
crossing over,
because when she started to say that, we asked her about what she's doing, outside of acting. I mean, I thought it may have been, it could not really outside, or maybe it could have been associated with acting. I thought maybe she was going to say
directing or something. Yeah.
But obviously trying to cross over into the cannabis world for medicinal purposes. I thought that was very interesting because everybody's into a little bit of
Different
everything
stuff.
out here in LA.
And that's kind of, we want the show to portray, the celebrities or the athletes that they do have other things in this life that's going on. Like say you see them on the screen, you see them on Sundays playing ball or whatever it is, but they have different lives. They have
outside interests.
Absolutely, which is okay.
Yeah.
Because the people, no, you have to be this person 365 days of the year. Like, no, they're regular people living regular day lives. And like I said, we're just trying to bring their lives closer to you all so you can feel closer. That's what we're trying to do on here on Get Your Popcorn Ready with your boy Hatch and
your boy T.O. right here.
No, you're supposed to say T.O. Just say, don't say and with your boy. I said that part.
I'm your boy T.O. I ain't worried about what he talking about.
What you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, and the best part of the show was probably me singing Prince.
That was
the best part of the show.
I hope that don't even make the cut. I hope that you don't even make the cut.
That had to be the best part.
You won't even be able to get on nobody's
Come on, man.
show. Nobody's musical. That is not even a hidden talent.
Practice though.